hard to capture, extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my sacred life.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another discussion about Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga continuity. So I just want to go and get this out the way. I know it's gonna be like 9,000 comments in the comment section saying like, yo, where's the Boruto manga chapter at? Why are you talking about this? Why aren't you reviewing the manga? So the manga comes out on the 20th each month at 11 a.m. okay, at 11 a.m. and I'm gonna be at work when the chapter's out, so I have to review the actual manga chapter when I get off of work. So on some days I can leave work early, I can use some vacation time, record the actual review, and get the review up for you guys before 7 o'clock at night. On days that I can't actually get the review done, the review comes out later in the night, around 7 to 8 o'clock at night. So just check back between, I would say between 3 and 7 o'clock, and the review will definitely be up. So with that being said, if you're an anime only fan, I am going to be talking about spoilers that happen in really the last 15 chapters of the Boruto manga. This will be content that you guys will be getting in the anime at some point once it gets off a hiatus, because we know that the car actuation arc is happening, and we also know that it's going to lay the groundwork for the stuff that happens when a certain character that you guys have been waiting for is going to debut in the anime. So with that being said, if you're still here, I'm going to go ahead and assume you're okay with me talking about spoilers. So I want to have this very honest conversation with you guys about whether or not the car members are too powerful, and whether or not this is actually a good idea, and where the inspiration for the car members to be as powerful as they are has actually come. Now I think at this point, if you are not accepting the fact that it's a shonen trope that the next set of villains is typically more powerful than the ones that are before, or they're typically more dangerous, that's a very cliche trope that's gone back to the 80s when it comes to Shonen Jump. But I'm not going to be using that for this discussion here. I just want to throw that out because I know some people they don't like that trope, but it's a trope that Naruto's employed for a long time, especially the series like Dragon Ball that inspired Naruto. So what I want to talk to you guys about is why I don't think that the car members are too powerful. Okay, it actually makes a lot of sense that these characters are powerful. I know somebody's like, wait a second, how is it possible that some random woman who has some machine parts shoved up her body, shoved in all types of different places, why is it that she's able to keep up with Hokage Naruto now? Don't you understand that this version of Naruto is a lot stronger than the version of Naruto that fought against Madara and Kaguya? Don't you understand that Naruto, he still has chakra from all 9 Biju? Naruto, he also has both halves of the QB now. He's had all this time to train to get used to it. Didn't you say yourself that you thought that in the Shikamaru Shinden novel that Naruto still was confirmed to have part of the Sage of Six Paths chakra? Why is it that Delta can keep up with them? I don't like this conversation. Unsubscribe, dislike. Okay, now that you got all that out your system I want to just kind of, backtrack for a second. At first, I was like, yo, like Naruto's holding back against Delta. He can't really go all out inside the village. And then Naruto used a lava star with Sen Shuriken against Delta, and I'm like, okay, hold on. He's ramping this fight up. And while it was obvious Naruto was doing the fighting because he wanted to test Delta's abilities, gain intel, because if these members of Car that he's going to be fighting are going to keep attacking the village, he has to have some idea of what he's getting into. That way he can share intel with Sasuke and some of the other heavy hitters in the village, potentially with the other 5 great nations. It totally makes sense. It totally makes sense why Naruto fought in the way he did against Delta. I saw a lot of people, they didn't like the fact that Delta was as powerful as she was. A lot of people feel like Kashin Koji being as powerful as he is, where he's able to foderize Konohamaru, which is essentially something that we're all used to now. But people didn't like the fact that he foderized Konohamaru when he did. And so I want to kind of talk about this cyborg element that you have with the different Car members. Okay, so we know from Kawaki that Amado has made mechanical enhancements to every member of Car. All the Car members, all of them are human beings at some point, and they've been scientifically enhanced using scientific ninja weapons tools. We also know that when you look at some of the stuff that Kodachi said, he said that Car has been testing technology behind the scenes, manipulating stuff in the shadows. All this makes sense for what they were doing. So I think I know what Ikimoto is going for when he draws the fights, and I think I know what Kodachi is going for when he's writing these characters. So I've seen a lot of people make comparisons to what you have with the Cell Saga and Dragon Ball, where people are saying like Ishiki Otsutsuki really feels like a character like Cell, and Delta and the different members of Kara that we've seen really feel like different versions of the different artificial humans that we've seen in the Dragon Ball universe. And so I think you're spot on with that, and I want to use Dragon Ball as an example because people are saying, how is it that some random person can get enhanced to a point where they're able to keep up with somebody like Naruto, who even in a suppressed Biju chakra mode was still somewhat being pushed by Delta, where Naruto's having to use some higher level ninjutsu. And so to that I would say this. Okay, so let's use Dragon Ball for an example, because we do know by Ikimoto's own admission that when he draws the Naruto fights, he isn't going onto his bookshelf and pulling out the Naruto manga and looking for inspiration for how Kishimoto drew fights. He's looking at how Akira Toriyama did. It's really damn obvious when you read his fight scenes. But given the fact that he has an inspiration from Dragon Ball, Masashi Kishimoto has a very strong inspiration from Dragon Ball, and Kodachi has some influence from Dragon Ball, I think we can kind of look at this and see where this is going. So when you look at the average power level for a human being in Dragon Ball, this can be one of the few times I'm going to use numbers and scaling and calcs and all this other stuff. You guys know I don't really care much for that power scaling bullshit on this channel. I focus more so on the skill levels of the characters and how dangerous they are and how versatile they are. But this can be one of those rare times I'm going to be using numbers and calcs and equations and all this other stuff. The average power level in Dragon Ball for a relatively healthy human being is 5. We saw that with Farmer of a Shotgun, right? Now, if you give Lapis and Lazuli, so that'd be androids 17 and 18, a power level of 5. And if you say that Vegeta from the future timeline, had a power level of 150 million, the same power level that Goku had on Namek. If you say that that Super Saiyan Vegeta was as strong as Goku on Namek, that means that at a bare minimum, if you put the androids at being equal to Super Saiyan Vegeta from the future timeline, that means Dr. Gero, with all of his mad science, was able to take a human body and modify it to the point where it is 30 million times more powerful than its actual living body was able to do. I use that to say this. Given the fact that there are some inspirations from Dragon Ball, you can clearly see this with the Kara members. The fact that Amado and whoever else is doing science over there in the Kara organization is able to take people like Delta, people like Kashin Koji, he's able to amp them up. If we say that Delta is the entry level, even though I think it's Boro, if we say that Delta is the entry level for the members of Kara, that means that at a bare minimum, that means that they can tangle with the suppressed Biju Chakra mode Naruto. They still end up losing, but they can tangle with them. And when you look at this fact right here, if you look at this fact here, that means that the science has gotten so high that it's taken normal human beings and it's put them at a level of power where if the Naruto war arc happened all over again right here and there, they probably one-shot most of the alliance. Here's the factor, right? I don't want to necessarily get into the scaling bar because again, that's not really my forte, but the thing I would definitely say is the fact that these are some really, really powerful characters. And the thing that they've been pushing for when it comes to the scientific ninja weapons tools and technology is that technology is going to be the thing going forth that's going to level the playing field. It's going to level the playing field to where your average ninja can use something like purple lightning, or it can use something like 200 shadow clones like we saw Boruto use in the Boruto Naruto movie, where Boruto gets a hold to one of the scrolls where Naruto puts his shadow clone jutsu chakra inside one of the scrolls, and Boruto's able to use 200 shadow clones to overwhelm Shikadai in the movie and novelization. So we know that this is something that Konoha has been working towards. We also know from the stuff Kodachi said that it ain't really Konoha's idea. This is really Kara's idea to weaponize ninja weapons tech, because it can either be used as for good or it can be used for bad. But I think that what they're doing with this car organization is it's definitely giving us an idea of how powerful ninja tech can be in the future, but it also shows if car is bad, what do you think can happen if somebody like Sasuke gets a scientific ninja weapon tool arm? Or we know Naruto has one. What if Naruto get a ninja weapon tool arm that's more beefed up than the one that can absorb chakra? What if we see something like that? We could see these characters take yet another step forward if they get their bodies enhanced. I definitely think this is the case, especially when you look at how Masashi Kishimoto, when he wrote Samurai 8 and let one of his Naruto assistants draw that manga, people told me left and right that there's a lot of science fiction in there, there's a lot of technology in there. You see some similarities in that. Now, I haven't read Samurai because didn't really appeal to me when Kishimoto was talking about it back in late 2014, early 2015. The fact is that Kishimoto has been planning stuff when it comes to technology for a while, so I definitely think that this makes a lot of sense. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.